My bad joke. There we go. Okay, I think that we're live. Hi, everyone. Today I have my first guest, Erika Stearns. She's a favorite on Twitter. And I wanted her to come on today because she has very unique and interesting insights on a lot of these things. And I'm so happy that you're part of the conversation with this Kohberger case, Erika, because a lot of things I would have never known.
Yeah,
And it really that's kind of the beauty of this community too, that everybody comes from all types of informational backgrounds, and then we all share it. It's so incredible to meet all of these incredible people and these incredible minds here. And
I
so I'm so
know.
happy for you to be with us today.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I needed your thoughts, especially because it's like, what the hell is going on with this
What's
Kohberger
going
case?
on? You
Yeah.
know, like that song, What's Going On? From
What's
that
going on? Yeah.
band here in San Francisco.
Oh, hello, Anna. Hello, Chloe Penny and Cassidy Kane. Welcome, everyone. All right. So, Erica, I don't know
Mhm.
what is going on with this case half the time.
I know,
Um,
it's evolving. And what's funny is I remember at the beginning, they're like, we don't even know like 90% of this case. And like
right.
whenever they do these little weird things, I'm like, wait, they just gave like a point, like maybe 1% more of like what we know. Like, it could be something completely different than what we even know, because police lie all the time. They'll be like, they'll say there's one killer and there's actually two, but they just want to see if the public starts to talk about it or something. And then they lie all the time. When are police not lying? I mean, they do that a lot.
Yeah, I learned recently that they're allowed to do that at the
Yeah,
pressers, and now that we
yeah,
know that Brett Payne has put things that aren't true about the cell phone records in the
right,
PCA, I don't know
right,
how we can
right.
take any of that seriously anymore.
And the thing is, these
Yeah,
people are trained in human in like public relations either.
right. And especially like with a case like this, they definitely needed a media person. I don't know what Fry was thinking when he was up there. He was
I
so
don't know why
terrible.
either. And like, why didn't they have to? And right away they showed Thompson. Like, he's gonna be. I'm gonna. They're right then. I thought they're gonna do something. And there's too much control of the family. When there's a gag order, why is one family allowed to talk?
Hmm.
And they go, well, the other ones are drug addicts. It doesn't matter. They lost their child. Everyone is different. Everyone, you know, just grieves different, but there are a lot of agencies that they can get help from that do actually reach out to them. So them like making all these unnecessary GoFundMe, Kaylee Day. I mean, it's just they should just have a one day for them. It's like there is many agencies that they can get. Yeah, I mean, they don't have to involve the public yet. You know.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't you want to know that they don't have any special intel just because they live there and they think they know. So I mean, they're kind of like, we know because it's our daughter. I know they
Well,
won't even show the crime photos. I told one of the parents, I said, you're gonna have to be prepared because they don't tell you, because if there's a jury, when they're
mhm.
gonna come out and show the murder
Oh,
photos. Like
yeah.
this after scene, the parents don't see that; they just see what's there, like what happened. It's not like they can see the other kids or anything. So when they see the actual crime
It'll be
scene
the
photos,
first time they see it, yeah,
yeah, they're
at
gonna see
trial.
blood. Yeah, it's different than when seeing it, after and out of the room. But then we'll see what it looks like when we first walk.
Yeah, and that reminds me, um, because a lot of what they're doing is what they're doing in the media. We all know. I have a heart for it. But did you start with the case in the beginning, or did you
Right.
come in along the way? And what was the first thing that you thought to yourself, "Wow, there's something wrong with this case"?
When I first heard touch DNA, because through my experience in going to school, and even I grew up in with a father in archaeology, and I even
That's
asked him
awesome.
what
Yeah.
is Optimal Labs, because Optimal Labs is actually used more for reconstruction of, like, see, say you find head, a skeletal head, they reconstruct it to,
Yeah.
have it look. They have different consultants, like I told you before. So this is weird, because touch DNA isn't even viable in science. They don't even use it within the scientific community. That's just like mumbo jumbo,
Mhm.
really. I don't know what they need to say. Who like show us, like, how touch DNA even. I mean, I know I can tell if it's a male or female.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like, something or that perhaps, I don't know, like that. It's just something
Your
easy,
Did your father
simple.
ever say anything that he's done
Yeah,
with DNA in his career?
yeah. And usually you have to send it, to a lab, or there's
Yeah.
other scientific, like, like, microscopes and
Mhm.
whatnot. Like, yeah,
That is so
they all do different. Usually the state. Like, I noticed in this, they're using the state of Nevada, so they probably do it. I know they have a area just for that. Like, it has a lot of nuclear energy. I know that. Like, it's a
that
pretty
is so
strong.
awesome. So your father knew right away that touch
He
DNA
was
is
like, "What are you
ridiculous, right?
talking about?" He's like, "I
Wow.
never." He's like, "That's crazy." But
Yeah,
like, that's not even a. I knew that too. I mean, I don't know if they think that the public is stupid.
I
And,
think
like,
so.
when they hear the word DNA, they're like, "Oh, 23andMe." Oh, you know what's really odd?
What?
I have an ex-husband that's from Romania, and he's been trying to get his, 'cause everyone's saying, "I'm related to Cleopatra," or this or that. And so he spit in it 3 times. They couldn't find a viable DNA sample.
Wow. And
And
that
but
that
he's from
vial is
Romania,
like
so does that
it's
mean he's just,
big.
like, never been evolved?
Yeah.
Is he just a monkey that just ended, you know?
That's
Isn't that
amazing
weird?
that he couldn't put enough in the tube.
That man can spit.
And that just
So,
goes to show that there is a minimum requirement that you need for biomaterial. Um,
right.
and it sounds odd that the state has the amount of biomaterial they claim. And Cassidy Kane, you're right. It sounds like
Yeah.
they didn't have enough biomaterial, and there's not enough to repeat the tests.
Yeah, I there's it's you can only test it once, and they did it backwards. That's when I and another thing that got me going, and it's not a lot of people talk about, is I there's no pictures of him getting arrested at his parents' house.
None.
You know, there's people with, police radios. Those neighbors that are they hear that someone's being summoned. You would hear. I mean, if there's someone that's a killing, you would think they would stop the traffic, right? Before they did it, and they would have set up a. That's what they normally do. Because how do you know they didn't? If he wasn't crazy and had a gun pointed at his parents' head or something, or someone inside the house. I have a feeling he just went, you know what? There's someone out there looking at me. I'm gonna go down to the Pennsylvania local police station and basically ask why. And that's why he was in it. Gloves.
Well,
That's what I think.
interesting you say that because it's like
That's
how they
just my
did it
theory.
late.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
true, but I mean, if they did get him at home, usually, before they're gonna do that, the feds and stuff, they usually call and they go late at night. Like that's a
Oh,
known fact. They call
wait,
before.
they call.
Yeah,
What, to make
like
sure
kind
that
of like
somebody's
telling
home?
late at night. Like they kind of call and give you a heads up, because they have to come in and they have to like break down the door that way. It's just that how you see his father cleaning up. It's not that bad. If it was a real, true, like crazy killer, they would have gotten every window.
Yeah.
They would have gone around the back and had. What if he ran out the back? They
Oh,
didn't have like.
hello, welcome, Miss Potts. Ah, I love you too, Miss Potts.
I can't read the comment. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wait.
What happened?
I was just realizing I can see the comments just now.
Oh, you can? Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hi, Mike. He has his own channel.
Oh, hello, Anomalies and the Real Deal. Is that Mike?
Yeah.
Welcome, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, Clopenny, I'm definitely waiting for that. I'm kind of upset that Julie Fry doesn't like post things on the website in an orderly fashion. So I'm waiting
Right.
for an official document or post that the change of venue was approved as well.
Right. I knew they were going to do that because it's kind of odd. Remember at the beginning, like they wanted, we can't have it here because of the school. We have to have it at a certain time
Yeah, you
because
made
of
your own
school
argument.
parking. And then he's like, oh, well, we need to move it. Well, it's like, well, this is what's taking so long. Don't don't blame the defense. I mean, it looks like Santa over there isn't doesn't. It's kind of like you have to direct him.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he. I think he's bored. Or almost. He looks
Aw.
defeated lately.
Well, I would like his case is falling apart, and maybe it's showing on his face.
Right. 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 Well,
um,
also maybe like there's a gag order and there's a lot more than we
right.
know.
So that brings me to another question. How
And
do
then
you
the change of venue was leaked to the G's.
yeah.
You know
What?
that's the whole thing. They shouldn't be involved like
Right.
that. No one has a special right. I mean, all of them are all born to their mother and they all were loved. And like, no one is child is better than anyone else's child. And yeah, it reminds me of a mentality. Actually, a lot of people in I know they're like that. Like our family is strong. They have like they basically breed themselves. Like me, they have how many kids? And then their kids have like Olivia has like three other kids, all different
There's a
fathers.
lot of them.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just seems like and then how many bank accounts do they have? I mean, they just, it's going to come and smack them in the ass eventually because
Well, yes, and they're making it seem like because I
they
know
act like
that
they have
this was
special
a win for the
intel.
defense, but really what
Yeah,
we're seeing is the US legal system working the way it's
that
supposed to work.
the fact that like they hang out with JLR says a lot about them. No, seriously, because that
I
they
know.
don't know that that guy like stole people's identities and got like years for he even how many people did he sue? Like he even sued like Nostradamus. You know that?
Right.
Like he figured a loophole in the system, and that's basically what he did. And he tried to
Well,
also
yeah.
Yeah,
S
I don't know.
speaking of
I
the
mean,
system, how do you feel about the way, Ann Taylor's, like, defense strategy? Do you think she should be doing more or less? And do you
I
think
don't
the
know.
motions to suppress will be coming?
I think I hope it comes. You would think it would because the public is like, what? I mean, a lot of, I don't know. You would think that she would because, I mean, how many, um, I don't know, like, I mean, how many lawyers can you choose from, right? And so, unless if it's something where maybe they just might, let's say, there's nothing here, you know, and let them go. I don't know. It's starting to just people think that a lot of that last court appearance was boring, but no, it actually said a lot, and that's
I
why there was
agree.
a opinion. And she has been bringing really good. Um, they are nothing witnesses. They're people that are actually in the
That's
field.
right. Don't you, didn't you have a favorite one or one of your family members works with one of the
With the,
defense
no,
witnesses? Is
with the
that
end when I did the questionnaire with the lady that was from University of Nevada, Reno.
Yes, is that the one that your family knows?
My stepmother teaches at the state of Nevada in a similar fashion. She works in journalism where she asks questions within counties because some of the counties are like may have Native American population more than or more ranchers or more migrants, for example, maybe, and
Mhm.
that's how they teach the
Yeah,
county.
because when they do ask those questions, they have to know that the demographics of the area as well.
Expert
Yeah,
witness.
it
Yeah, it
goes
was.
into
Yeah,
it.
yeah, Miss Potts. I thought that was too. A lot of people want to dismiss that, but I was like, no, that was. And if you read, I had to look at the screen and read the questionnaire because basically you can just tell that they're not true, right? And how they word it, like, did you see or hear? That's why with the parents, like, did you see or hear him get arrested at his house? Did you see or hear? And a lot of them were were pretty good. But it's interesting they didn't say anything about Kopaka, but they said things about other, like Nancy Grace. So why wouldn't they say, did you see or hear that there was a shooting at WSU? Like that's what's weird, you know.
Yeah,
I thought that would be mentioned because that's a big. I
that
mean,
was a big thing that happened very close too. Yeah.
so if they, that's what I don't know. I don't know.
What do you think of Bryan Kohberger's alibi? Do you think people are reacting to it the way that it was intended?
I think it's like they almost like a mob scene at the beginning. See, that's another thing. The G family's like, we're gonna go out there and take all the everyone's DNA. First of all, that's like Nazi Germany. You can't just take someone's DNA like the Golden
Right.
State Killer. Not everybody wants to give their DNA up for
Oh,
science or something,
they were. I remember that interview. Yeah.
system. Like I haven't been arrested. So I'm not in the coded system. So I don't want anyone to test my blood. Like, didn't they test someone's blood by like looking at their wives I think it was the BTK. No, it was the daughter's like gynecology report or something. That's how they got her DNA.
That's so crazy.
Not horrible. That's like totally
Yeah.
legal, like in gross practice, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's medical. I don't think that that would be legal to go to a yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know someone might be a killer, and like that's the only way you can possibly get their DNA. But there's other ways, and also like but doing it, that's kind of like underhanded. That's
Right.
the hip act. I thought that like
Mhm.
we in America, this isn't Nazi. Once again, this isn't you know before World War II. You're not you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Well, I remember that, in there, it said that Ann Taylor will l I guess, release the exculpatory evidence that she knows it exists, and I thought that was interesting, and I didn't in there also say something about a picture on his
Right.
phone?
I that makes me wonder if
Yeah.
maybe I bet you. I mean, it's such a small area. People don't realize it's not a metropolitan town. Like they don't have sidewalks everywhere. Um, like there's people that hunt. Women can hunt too. Women are just as I know people where I grew up that hunt. We're actually Bethany Funk's from my hometown in Carson Valley, Nevada, which is only
Wow.
like minutes from Tahoe, maybe like
Mhm.
half an hour from Reno. It's kind of like the trifecta. But
Yeah.
um, her father has a dentistry there, and they're German, like from World War II. But yeah, I mean it's a small area, but there's a lot of people out there that use buck knives and other knives too. So it's like not weird for them to have
Yeah,
one.
all
I
those knives were all over the
mean,
social media of the other students from fraternities and sororities as well. It looks like they're out there.
yeah, I mean, it's not. You see, yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of them, and of course, if you're going to move to a place that's like that, of course, you're going to get a knife if you're not going to buy or a gun, and especially if you're. And I mean, I don't know, like you said with the picture. How do you know it just wasn't like? It just so happens that you took a picture of somebody in a picture,
Yeah.
like somewhere, and there just happened to be in the background. I mean, that's like how on Facebook they say you may know somebody just because you live near them, like through the
Yeah.
algorithm. So, I mean, what is the likelihood that that would happen through their algorithm? It's like that 7 degrees of separation, especially if, um, for example, Xana's sister went to school there, right? WSU students, there would be an algorithm. But I think I don't know what his profile looked like. Did he say he was just from Pennsylvania or
I'm not sure.
yeah, he's gonna buy it?
And Annie Potts says, "Did you also notice they keep citing a case regarding a crime with a firearm? I forget which one, but it has to do with the robbery charge."
Oh yeah, the robbery charge. I thought that was just because he that's weird.
It is weird. I don't know if it's like
I think it's
something
just they're
weird
trying.
the state does or if they were
I think
just trying to add.
how cops are just trying to write what they learn, right? In a
Yeah.
situation, they're kind of citing something, but I think they're just inept. Like they have nothing to really, they have nothing to compare it to, if that makes sense. Like, whoever's doing it, that's according to how they perceive it. Not, they
Right.
don't have, you know, they're very misconstrued.
Yeah, I don't if they can't
They're not
prove
prepared for
that
that.
he was in the house, how do they prove the
They
burglary and then the
buy
uh
the house.
yeah, they can't even prove he was outside the house. Yeah.
And
at
that's
this
what's
point.
odd. Like, it's all like contained. So if he was gonna take
Oh,
office
okay.
away, you know how many different, not just at that store that he would have driven by. There's
Yeah.
more. I mean, I'm sure at his apartment, there's a lot more. And what year was his car? Because I know that many of them have those where you can play music and then it will tell you kind of like Google Maps.
Oh,
I wonder if
yeah.
it's like a black box in there. Do you know?
A black
I don't
box.
know.
I don't know. I think his
Because that
vehicle
even
is a 15. I thought a black box is in every vehicle, but then there's that also that, like, I was gonna say MedStar package. No,
yeah.
OnStar package where it has, like, that electronic, um
Right, that's what I'm thinking
I
of.
don't think that his version had that.
Oh, really?
Um, to
But
my knowledge, I think somebody looked that up. He has a
okay.
2016?
Hmm.
Wait,
I'm
I
gonna
thought
have
it
to
was
check
15.
all. Hmm. I'm so confused. There isn't even one. What a
That's
UFO.
right, Miss Potts. There was a Glock 40 there recovered
Yeah.
from
You know
Bryan's
what?
home. I do believe there was a magazine, maybe
Like
an empty one?
men like guns. I mean, especially where he lives.
In
Men,
Pennsylvania, yeah.
I mean, I mean, I'm sure if you want to be a cop, that's the perfect gun to I mean, I had gun. I've had guns because I'm from Nevada. They're legal there, but some people just can't, you know. But obviously, it might be just for like trying to be an officer or a peace officer or whatever, right? Or even if you were a part of a criminal investigation, you would use one, right? What kind do the police carry out
Right now,
there?
I think they have Sig Sauers. Oh, that's in my state. I don't know about Pennsylvania. But,
Mm.
Annie Potts brings up a good point here. When I was reading those, did you get a chance to skim through any of those documents that dropped, on the iCourt website? All of the
Yeah, I briefly looked at it and people just pick at it too much to the point where they
Yeah.
don't realize what it's really about. It's just about, yeah. Um like he went to commit a robbery. Like why would he want from them? Come on. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna steal their happy sign or they must be rich. I'm gonna just happen to come in this house and steal their underwear because I mean, there would be such a long history of that.
I
Like
think
the
one
fact
of
that
them did mention, motive, and I think that's gonna be a big issue for the state
there,
because I know
yeah,
the peanut gallery is like, "Well, you don't have to prove motive." No, you don't, but it really does help the jury envision what was happening when you have the motive, and we have emails from Steve G saying the state is having trouble connecting Bryan Kohberger
thought
to the
too.
crime,
But he's still so
and
set
so
on him,
motive is gonna be important for them if they're gonna try to.
right? And the fact they have no connection, how are they gonna? What
They
motive? I
aren't
mean, it's not
denying
even
he
motive,
committed the robbery?
right? They weren't denying he committed a robbery, huh? Well, maybe he. You know what? I had this theory that is kind of silly. Like,
Yeah.
what if he thought, hey, after the murder, I bet you I can go in and like take something and like leave it no one would know, or maybe put a little art. I don't know, artists do that. Put their name on a tag it. I don't know.
Oh, hello, Twizzlestick. We have a Twiz in the house. Welcome. And well, that leads me to another question. Do you have um a theory. I know there's like the frat theory, there's the police corruption therapy
I think it's
theory.
all
He's
kind of
guilty. I'm sorry,
man.
what was that?
I think it's like in the threes again. Everything goes in threes. I don't know. I think it's all of the above almost. Because I think that
Yeah.
Dylan or one of them. You have to understand that women can kill. Look at that shit business shit, or like what or the lady that Lizzie Borden that killed her
Yeah.
family. I mean, they can be angry and they can be petty, and the roommates. But usually people kill because of what jealousy,
Mhm.
uh, rage, and you know the
Money.
motives, but
Yeah.
money, right? Money. So she there was like money problems in there, huh? Because they were kind of like, we need money for this and this, and they didn't really eat there. They always ordered food. Was that
Mhm.
normal? They didn't like do a community dinner, like I don't know. In college,
I don't
usually, I
know.
don't know. It's kind of odd, but they're kind of to themselves. But I have a feeling that Dylan. I mean, just with the latent shoe print and and I think that people forget too that like that's near Ruby Ridge too. I mean, it's a area where they have plenty of police that I'm sure think that from other counties as well, and money or love, yeah. But also like all of that. I think Dylan saw it and like she wasn't in shock. Maybe she was afraid that she would be, blamed or something, and then that's the shock phase. Um, because or the someone that she knew said, "This is what you're gonna say," because the whole thing in black. Of course, a person coming in is going to be wearing black. That just sounds like a burglar. Like I'm wearing black and bushy eyebrows. I
That
couldn't see
description
that.
to me is nondescript. I don't think
You
it
know
holds
they
any
say
evidentiary value
that.
because it describes too much of the population. No matter
Right, and
how much Bill Thompson or Payne wants to say, "Oh no, it matched
often
Brian's driver's license," it
yeah,
doesn't, and that's why there isn't a sketch because there's not enough
right.
information to actually make the sketch.
And
You
usually
have
they
to have
do
a little bit
do
more about features, and she
right,
didn't
right.
have
And
any of
it's
that.
almost
Bushy eyebrows doesn't
and so when
cut it.
you're in a house and you're gonna kill and make sure they're all dead, you can take off your your mask and be hot. But I don't
Yeah.
understand that. It seems like it's too that's usually the number one thing they say. Plus, most people in an interview, like what do they look like, tell they're gonna say the person that's interviewing them. Like usually, I've seen that. In cases when they reconstruct, they
Yeah,
actually explaining the person that's reconstructing
they
because
do.
they're
Is there
trying to.
studies behind that? That's
Yeah,
interesting. They end up
yeah.
describing the person who's drawing
Maybe,
the picture?
yeah, one of these dudes was
Wow.
doing. They have bushy eyebrows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Mm.
latent shoe print outside the door, I think that could actually be considered direct evidence.
Yeah, it could be thought it was a dude in the bed. I don't know. Like, I think that how do you know that I mean, women have men keep guns under their on their side table. Women, carry spray or a knife in their purse, right? So,
Yeah,
like, if you were in a house like that, a party house, you would have something. I mean, you're not, like, what if they had a knife under their bed just for protection?
exactly. You bring up two excellent points here. For one,
Yeah,
it was a party house because there are
why do you
people in
lock
and out all the time. So
the
there's going to be lots of it's a DNA petri dish in there.
right, right, right.
So
There's
there
no
should have
way.
been a
Yeah.
mixture no
Uh-huh.
matter what the police have found, and
Right.
2, we don't know if the sheath
If
actually belonged to one of the victims.
we even know it exists, I mean,
The
what did they
sheath may
say?
not
We
even
had it,
exist.
we lost it, or we lost the profile or something. That's I can see them doing that
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
just seems like this is our what we. They just need to stop. They just need to stop like dragging it out so much. I just don't. It's also, I mean, Ann Taylor's just doing what is expected. I know people are like, oh, she's not supposed to be doing like this, but that's usually what lawyers do. I don't know much about lawyers, but there is protocols. It usually takes up to 2 years for a big major murder, anyways.
I was
Like
just
look at
having a
the way Wilson did
conversation
that was
about
like
this.
5 years or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what she's doing is not she is trying multiple cases at once. I think some
Hmm.
of it is she's litigating this case, but she's also litigating and like she's already in appeals. So she's
Right.
stacking the deck. So by the time
Mhm.
she gets to appeals, if she gets there, she's going to have so much. It'll be like she's almost on her second appeal. Like
Right.
she's already prosecuting the next case.
Right. But I like when they said law enforcement doing a lineup. I've been saying that from the get go. I thought that when someone gets murdered in your house, you have to. Usually, they look at the people that live there first and foremost. Like they don't get any. There's no questions asked. Send them down to the police station. Put them in separate rooms. Question
Right.
them separately so you can see how they act on camera. Because why are they putting kid gloves on these girls? Like they should be treated no matter if they're girls, boys, black, white, everybody should get the same, right? So you would think that if they did a lineup, but they don't really do lineups anymore. I thought that they just show them like pictures.
You bring up a
But
great point, though.
because
I'm
now with
sure it's
technology,
written in police protocol books that when you
right,
find people alive at a crime scene, you have to
process them because they could have
separate them,
something.
right?
Uh-huh.
And to get as much detail as you can from them. And also, I thought that when you do a lineup,
Mhm.
you're right. They could show them a 6 pack of driver's license, I guess, from the DMV,
Right.
but I
Mhm.
thought they had to come back. Like the
Me too.
the survivor or whoever will give a description, and then the police will investigate a little bit, and then they'll come
Take
back
a cup of
with some
coffee or
information and say, "How
yeah,
about now?" They like to confirm with the
please
person, like,
come
is
to
this
or something. I don't know. Like you'd think they would. I mean, everyone has to be treated like a suspect. It's
right?
like an
Right.
accusation, like
So I wonder
you
if Ann Taylor will attack that at all. That like you didn't follow police procedure here because you
I
found
think that
people alive at the scene and you didn't question
and you
them.
could like and if they
Yeah,
did see them, if they lied and they did see them say and go down, then I don't know. I think one of them, at least one of them, could have maybe been saved from putting pressure on the wound or blood or something. Oh, yeah, he
that
carried two
is
blocks. Yeah. See, that's not really
I
not
I think
weird.
that is one of the most heartbreaking things that there was that much time that had gone by between when they were aware of the crime and when they called the police, and then when what if somebody could have received life-saving
Right.
procedures, and we'll
And I
never
mean,
know.
how? So maybe they could have patched it up or something. Yeah.
Ugh, I
Yes.
can't imagine if one of them was laying there, like,
Like
suffering.
help. Yeah.
So,
Or
these roommates didn't treat these victims very
I
well by leaving them
yeah,
there. The
I think there was
pain
some
took 4 hours, and then
I yeah, yeah, and I
the
still think
coroner
it's weird
go ahead.
was that video and how they acted like one another.
Oh, that is very telling. I hope a psychiatrist or some type of behavioral health behavioralists looked at that. That would be very interesting. Yeah. The way
Yeah.
that Dylan was portraying Maddie, that's very telling. Yeah.
Mm.
That's a great point. I don't think I would have thought of that.
When I first saw that, I'm like, they don't like each other. That's the first thing I thought of. They kind of seem like two. I mean, college girls are catty, and then the OnlyFans thing, they could or could not be. I mean, that's so popular right now, especially sorority girls, blondes, whatever. I mean, that would. I mean, if they did that, they did. But that would. I mean, that would. I could see them doing it without having to like be sexual. They're young
Oh, the
girls.
women, right. Right,
I
if
mean,
that's true, I think that
mm,
the anger that we've heard
mhm,
went into this
mhm,
crime, the
mhm.
fastness and if these things are true and there's no sexual assault, to me, that all says woman.
And there might still be because they lie. Maybe they don't always have to, like let's just say, release in the right there
True.
on them. But still, they would have like there are like they can tell if it's rape too, post mortem. But if it's someone that they are sexually active with,
Yeah,
with
that would
24 hours. If you've had actually that doesn't show. It wouldn't show that. It would just
oh,
say she's sick. And that's just part of like the. That would, I don't know. I've heard that, but I'm not sure.
welcome, Diane, very good to see you. Hello, Joanna T. Did I miss anyone else here? Welcome, everybody. Oh, good to see you. I thought, well, what that reminds me, whenever there's like a crime scene tech that goes to collect the DNA, there's always like some sort of reference list where they'll put,
Right,
you know,
it's gotta be.
the regular partners of sexual partners or the police officers or someone that they know
Right,
not to
right,
use that DNA. Yeah.
right. Like if they say, "Oh, well, she has a boyfriend and she's on birth control,"
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, they can tell if someone's sexually active. Women, I mean, that's not. That's it. We
Oh,
know
right.
why.
That
We
too.
don't really
Yeah.
have that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Maddie and Xana. It's almost like Xana reminds me of the little matchstick girl, and yeah, for some reason, like just it's sad that there were two other girls, and just because their families had issues or and all that doesn't make them lesser at all. They were still equally spirits, equal spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they want to see like, oh, there was so much rage, like Xana. They're focusing it on the people that think they have intel, and so they go, okay, the public doesn't know that it really was maybe Xana. Maybe because you got to also remember the who was it the which fraternity was it that guy Loach was in that said. Ethan said, "Oh, you got roid rage."
Sigma Chi, or that was
Well,
a
yeah,
recent party. Was that night?
did that night that happened. I mean, because
Oh,
that was I think that's odd, but then they had the golf clubs, and first thing I at least I know living in San Francisco, people use those as weapons. They can break them open. They're like knives. They're like shanks. So that would be like a gouge. But then again, I don't believe what the consultants say because they see their one daughter and they don't get to see the rest. That's just the law. They get to see that when they get to court. That goes against, that goes against everything.
yeah, actually, yeah, we don't know if that's actually true. And from what
Well,
we've
yeah,
learned so far
so
about them,
balding.
a lot of what
Yeah,
they've said is hearsay. So, I
Yeah.
don't know how they would be able to give that information unless they knew the other
Right.
wounds.
Right. Right.
And, of
Yeah.
course, they're gonna be biased for their right.
I've been in the state saying, hold on a second, uh, against the rage, and it's because they want to see if someone goes, well, I don't know. So maybe that I don't know. I think they put those names in it for a reason. Like Xana's hands were almost severed. Well, the father looking at their daughter, what's the first thing they're gonna think? Oh my God, it looks like her finger, because they would be if it happened before she died, then they would be bruised,
Right.
But it depends.
And that's another thing, the time of death.
Mhm.
It's almost unheard of,
It's almost like
to
on
use
the dot 7 hours.
somebody's cell phone to determine the time of death if there isn't
Mhm.
any medical information to go along with it. The technical
Yeah,
part can support the medical, uh,
right. Is it just the text that support that between
as far as
Bethany
the
and
PCA says, it's a vehicle they found and
right?
the text messages from the roommates. And that is just
That's just
completely
uh,
irresponsible to put
that
time of death
yeah.
with those things.
And
Yeah,
they can tell because isn't like after I think it's 6 hours, then it goes into rigor, it goes out and then it goes back,
exactly.
So were there any bugs yet? I mean, bugs happen fast.
Yes, can't they, take the contents of the stomach of the bugs, and they can also determine the time from those little types of things as well.
Second, oops, I have to do something.
Right, Penny, we were talking about the motive earlier today, um, and I think the
Sorry
state is
about
gonna
that.
have a very hard time trying to prove the motive because
Mm,
they're really so far, there isn't one.
right.
They were
Sorry, I had
trying to
to.
say the stalking welcome back, Erica. They were trying to maybe say the stalking was the motive, but now the state has retracted that. So now they have even less of a reason.
This keeps on like decreasing. Sorry, I'm trying to
Carbonara in the stomach,
yeah,
right?
right now to see if it was partially digested or fully digested or not. But then again, they could have thrown up because they were so drunk.
True.
Okay, there. Sorry about that. I had to.
Now, Club Penny brings up
Mhm.
a good question, or not a question, a thought. A lot of that 4chan stuff is compelling, and it was out very early on. Like, do you think
Mhm.
that that could be something real, or is it something maybe the police put up to try to engage in
Um,
conversation like they did with, Papa
the
Rogers?
Papa Rogers. That
You
Papa
know?
Rogers, that's just too like odd that it's so. But if you think about it, there's all these like games that men play that they love war.
Right.
So you know that like it's not maybe it's just circumstantial, like it's not really big. I don't know. I don't know much about 4chan. I wouldn't know how to even navigate it.
Yeah.
I've only heard about it in this case, really, but the whole thing about the fan thing, but that to me seems in the Poconos. I wonder if it's just like I don't know. I don't. I mean, they can't be 100% about anything. Things happen, and they're gonna find anything, right? I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. Oh yeah,
I
the
know.
first stage Pallor mortis. Yeah, it pulls underneath, right? Yeah. And
Mhm.
then how long is that? So they would be in the second stage of algar mortis. Mm, so yeah. So basically, that's a horrible way to die to bleed out. I don't think they cut their excuse me their vocal boxes. You know, because I mean, did they not? They didn't. They said I remember they first said they all died like in their beds with a slashed throat, and then they're like, no, there was damage to the kidney or whatever it was, the liver.
I am gonna
Yeah.
share my screen. Um, hopefully you'll be able to see it. I found something about the times of
Okay.
what rigor mortis and things
Right.
do, the stages.
And
Hello,
then it goes.
hello, Dean. Welcome. Let's see. Share my screen.
Mhm.
Here it is.
Yeah, the coconuts thing was like, but then I hear coconuts is not really like is kind of a not. And there's like shitty people. There's shitty people everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But plus, like,
Okay. Go
mhm.
ahead.
Okay. Let's see. So
Oh, can I hit?
let me see.
Oh, here.
Okay.
Can you see it
3
better
hours.
now?
Okay, so it would be um it would be rigor. So it would have been hard to get them out if they were like, ugh. Their muscles would be pretty tight, and that's right. There would be pulling, huh? Yeah, and the liver. Wait, yeah. So the in cloudy eyes, even 3 hours. So their eyes would have
Two to
looked
three
weird.
hours. Wow.
And then the last meal's 3 hours. So yeah, 4 to 6 hours. It would be empty. The stomach. Diane was right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on,
What about
Diane.
alcohol?
So,
What about
yes.
they can look in the bladder, right?
Oh, the bladder.
Hmm. So they wouldn't have had any feces everywhere yet. Look, I'm looking at it like it's not. It says 30 hours after a meal. Does it actually come out your ass? I don't mean to be crass about
that's
that,
that,
but that's
that's true. Yeah,
they
right here.
so it would go into the small intestine, and then yeah,
3 to 4
it
hours.
you can still digest your food, and there's still enough muscle to push it out. I never knew that. Didn't know that, but because I always thought when you die, you just shoot yourself right there, but you don't.
That's what I thought too. 30
Well,
hours after the meal.
I also haven't like gone to the bathroom that day or clogged up. I don't know.
So, liver mortis,
Mhm.
blood that pools in the lowest parts of the body after death due to gravity.
The one
1
of
to
the
2 hours after death, liver mortis begins to be seen.
Mhm.
And liver mortis is fixed, which means the blood has permanently stained the skin. It will
Mhm.
not change when touched or moved after
Oh,
6 to 8 hours. Interesting.
wow.
So
Mhm.
the coroner should have been able to see
Right,
exactly if it had been 6 to 8 hours and she was seeing signs of the skin being stained
right.
or not, that should have given her kind of a rough idea of how many hours had already
Oh,
passed since the
right.
actual time of
So,
death.
did they say it was 6 to 7, or is it exactly 7?
To when they called,
Well, yeah, when they not when they called, but when the police came,
Oh, okay. Oh,
because they would be the ones to say, okay, they're dead, right? Because they
well,
don't know, they're in shock phases.
the police aren't supposed to call the time of death. Um, although I'm sure MPD did take it upon themselves. But you're right. It's unclear exactly what the first responders did, which was what Nunez and I forget the other guy's name. So we're kind of unsure of what they were doing. And then
Right.
for some reason they had to wait around 4 hours for Brett Payne to come. And then
That
at that
pain,
time,
yeah,
at that time, the techs were they had started to process the scene. So that was a
right.
full 12 hours that had gone
Right,
by
right.
before somebody had attended to them.
So someone they're just going through the different mortises, the
Yes.
different phases right there. Like that's odd. Like you wouldn't want it to be warm or too hot, you know?
So if
Like I
they
thought
did pass at
right,
four whatever time it was that is it 12
right.
hours? So at 12
Well,
hours the police should have been seeing that
right,
the body would have been cold and stained.
right, right,
Um the eyes, if they were partially or fully open, would have been cloudy. They
right. Like so they would have had a film over it like that. Like that's kind of odd, huh?
look at this 8 to
It's
12
very
hours. The body is in
mm,
full rigor. So by the time the crime scene techs got there, the body should have been in full rigor mortis. If it's true that well, on that paper I saw, they
no,
the coroner had put time of death at 12,
right. Which would make it
which shouldn't be. I don't think that that's. Hopefully, we get a more accurate time of death because
I
I guess they
know.
just put time of death from when the police were called. They put it just as 12.
Right. That's so that was supposedly like just what just below 7 hours. They just didn't want to say that. Why didn't they want to say 7 hours? To make it not seem even longer?
But it's strange
Yeah.
because it the from what we're
Wow.
told, they should have been in full rigor.
Right.
Um, and if they weren't in full rigor, that would mean something is wrong with the roommates and what they're stating. That it's like,
Right.
wait a
Right.
minute, you told us one thing, 12 hours have gone, the body should be somewhere in this area for the rigor mortis, but
Right.
we're not seeing signs of this, and this. So what you're saying about 4 a.m. doesn't really match up with what we're physically seeing here. So I am very curious to see
What?
what
Yeah.
the medical information. Go
Yeah. And
ahead.
I wonder how well it is because I don't know if that coroner, like, that was like her first time, or did she just do like simple things? Like, if someone died, you have to just do the time of death. Maybe they had a heart attack or they died in their sleep. And was this her first, like, major? I think it was all their first, right?
Right.
Um, so, like, so that's not her special, she doesn't specialize in that, though, right?
I don't think so. And from what she was saying is that it sounded like it was political,
Right.
where
Oh, okay.
she
Right,
would
right.
she
Does
kind
she
of
have an
just
assistant? I wonder.
I don't know. But she had an assistant, but she kind of was like, yeah, I couldn't do what I needed to do because of law enforcement.
I wonder if that's just the closest person they could think of, or what? Because they couldn't get anyone from Washington. I bet they would have. more people that were capable there than in Oregon. I mean, Idaho, sorry. They had to do people in Idaho, right?
Yes, because they share a medical examiner, I think, with Spokane, because Moscow or Latah
Oh,
County
they
doesn't
did?
actually have
Right. They
a
did do
medical
that?
examiner.
Oh,
I
that's
believe so.
interesting. Because Washington State's a really good school if you want to be a biologist, or in the sciences. It's a good college for that. Also for anthropology, it's a pretty good school for that. And like psychology, it's not
Yeah.
big, but yeah, that's really interesting. I still would like to know about that. Huh.
Yeah, so for what's her name? Mabut? I
My butt.
She didn't really seem like she knew what was going on. Yeah.
Mom, two T's just like your butt.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It almost sounds like I bet she got teased in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm, kids,
She didn't come
um,
across as very, professional to
no,
me.
no,
Um,
me neither. I don't, and plus I think she was overwhelmed, and I'm surprised
yeah.
that she more than one person. I think she was overwhelmed because maybe she just got them like, here you go, like cattle. I don't know, or maybe she was told this is the guidelines and this is what you need to follow, and maybe she was like, I
I
don't
think
know
you're
how.
right.
Yeah,
I think the police told her, "This is what you're doing," because
because
it's
this is what
political
you're
there,
doing.
and so
Right,
sh
right,
I think
mhm,
she backed down. She didn't do what she was supposed to do.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm
That
sure that in court, the defense, when they see, I don't know if they've seen the crime scene. I'm sure, yeah, Ann Taylor was there, right? So,
yeah.
so the thing is that they know, and that's one of the things they're suppressing, I'm sure. But like, um, okay, um, so yeah, I'm sure. A second, there you are. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, it was questionable, and you haven't really heard much from her since. And she teaches, right? So people learn from
Oh,
her
yeah, she does, doesn't she?
in college. Yeah. So, and I think she's one of those people that have just been in it for a while and just whatever she teaches. But it's almost like I don't know, like she is pressured also by the family. Just think about that, like, oh
True.
no, and probably she had to do it quickly because of the um the news and all that. Because at first they said their necks were all slashed, like someone just went,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden like there's a fight, and you know you don't even know like how they really like they're usually what was it that killed them? Like was it the one in the liver? Was it the one in the like the way I don't know.
I think if we
Thank
can
you.
trust the coroner, she said they all had a fatal blow in the chest area.
Well, of
One of the
course. I mean, there's a sternum right here. It would get
mhm,
bruised. It would look worse than I don't know. It, it's a lot of muscle there.
mhm.
Yeah. I
So I
mean, I
wonder
think that
if go ahead.
I, I think that's why they think it was like overkill on Matt on what was it on? I think it was on Kaylee, right? And you gotta remember she was a bigger girl. There was more to not to be morose, but she was a bigger girl. She had a bigger sternum and a bigger, lighter shoulder. It would be difficult to go through that. And I think she had a damage to her liver right there. That's like over with.
Mhm.
My anomalies. Not like I don't know where you live. Huh. No, he's my friend.
Did you? He says, "That's Mike." He says, "Great conversation tonight. You two are awesome." Thank you, Mike.
Watch his channel. He's got a master's.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ray. He is? Wow.
yeah,
He's very talented. Wow. Shoot. That's interesting. So that guy is a professor in cloud forensics or whatever in the satellite field, right? And blood pattern. He's just like he's got all the his bases covered, right? Did he work as a police officer?
yeah. I think he worked for at least 10 years or
Wow.
more.
See, that's why I like him.
13 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
he. That was the first thing he did in his
Right.
career, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And he talks well with his wife. They have a good relationship, and they really do question each other a lot, which is
they're
good.
great.
Like
Yeah.
they don't like say, "You're right," honey, you're right. It's good that they can say, "You know what? Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, Diane says that Syray
Well,
was a
yeah.
detective for years.
Wow. Well, sometimes detective work is boring because you have to like hand over papers. Like, you get a divorce, right? I don't know what kind of detective was he? Like on the
I'm not
force?
sure. Yeah,
Yes,
he was for a police department.
right, right. Mm.
Hi, American Princess. Welcome. Yeah, I enjoy watching Syray too, Joanna T. Do you watch Ray's channel, Erica?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. They have
I
good,
like smoke
good
to the
chat.
side, but I can't. I'm a smoker. Is that against YouTube's rules? Is to smoke?
No,
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 I'm not.
you've seen Tommy Jude, right? If
I
you
don't
want
know.
to turn off your camera or you just want to go for it, it's really up to you. We're laid
How
back here.
do you do that? How do
We
you
want
do
you to
that?
be comfortable.
Let's see. I don't know. I'll just leave it. I'm sure it's all right. I've never done this on a live before, so
I'm so
um,
happy you came up. I couldn't wait to get your thoughts on everything.
yeah. It. I have a. I was like thinking, God, this would be, I'd like to write a book, but I'm sure a lot of people have thought of that.
Well, you
I
should.
mean, but there's a lot that's coming up, and what's interesting is that
What?
Anne Rule and Ramsland are writing a book together.
Who is Ramslin and
Ram
who?
and Anne Rule, the one that did Bundy's.
Are they're coming up with a new one?
They're going to be like on a book tour, and I don't know what book they're writing about.
Oh,
But isn't that
wow.
kind of interesting? Like both of them, like
Yep.
kind of creative forces together. But
Wha-
Ramsland has a gag order too on Bryan.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sure they talked
Yeah.
to her right away. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also
Oh,
wondering.
poor God. No, don't smoke, Mike. Tell him not to smoke because it causes cancer.
Oh, you telling Mike that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, you tell Mike. Yeah.
Don't smoke. You shouldn't be smoking. Yeah, and
Oh,
they're
see you
expensive.
soon, American Princess.
Yeah, Dateline. Ramsland told him not to talk to the media. That's cool.
Oh, that's
That's really
right.
cool.
I
And
remember
it's cool
hearing that.
that's cool that they actually are following it. Yeah, right. No ending yet. That's how they kind of write though, with no ending. At first, like with
Yeah,
the Green River Killer. I know that
Right.
Ann Rule asked, like, Bundy, what kind of person's doing this? Oh, really? And they're like, he's like, well, he's fucking with the police, and he's using this. And he did use the same car, he just like painted it, right? I don't know. Carrie was a special agent.
I didn't know that. That's great information, Diane. Thank you. I didn't realize that.
Either. Well, it's kind of that's. I mean, that's not. I mean, she's got heart though. You know,
Yeah, lots of heart.
One,
They both have heart,
yeah,
definitely.
right,
And it reminds me, I would think Ann Taylor would want to bring up protocol, like the way that the
well, she
techs are trained, the
maybe
way my butt was trained, because she's going to say,
right.
well, where were you? Did you pronounce the death? And
And what
what did you
police
see on the
follow,
scene? Why weren't you allowed in? Like,
right,
that's not protocol. And so there's so much here where Ann Taylor can talk about training and protocol. And she
right,
did ask for some records for some police officers.
yeah,
Because
she did.
I believe
Hmm,
she's going to go for some of that to say,
good.
this is how you're usually trained. This is the training you
That's
said you
good,
had, and yet you
right?
behaved this way. So,
Right.
something like that.
Mhm. Huh. Yeah, you would think that most of them have to go through police academy. Like, didn't they learn anything from that? Oh, not do as I say, not as I do. Ha ha ha.
Mike, you're so funny.
Mhm.
But Mike says Ann Taylor has so much she can go for with messed up things on this case. Yes.
I think she has, and that's why they
Right.
suppress a lot. It's like every time she goes, boop, they go, ah. And
Yeah, they do.
I mean, the dog thing was just like, okay, that was less than a sentence. And that just changed, like what? Like she knows a lot. I think she's gonna do sneak attacks.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, who was it earlier? It was one of the first one of you here that said, Ann Taylor's just getting started, or
Right.
she definitely has a strategy, and she's not being straightforward because she knows she's worked with Bill Thompson before. So she knows that she has to be very strategic in the way that she approaches this. But not only
Yeah.
has she been strategic, to me, in my opinion, it seems like she's been very organized. She's been doing a
I
lot
think
of things by the book as well. And I think
right.
she's threading her needle. I think we're going to exponentially see more and more and more of why she's making the
Right.
decisions that
There's
she
a
is
reason.
making. Yeah.
There's a reason. It might be like, well, this looks weird, or she's not spelling it right. Well, you can look at those mistakes, but overall, like thus far, like I haven't ever since we heard that they weren't stalking the victims. It's like they had to. Then suddenly you have to hear all the other channels like Nancy Disgraced and all that just start going, pumping out negativity with TMZ. Even like they should know. I mean, that's one thing is journalism is just sucks now. I mean,
The
it just
integrity is
sucks.
just not there anymore. Yeah.
It's just
Sucks.
not like they just don't. It's all about like you know
Ratings
everyone
and
wants.
their views,
Yeah,
right.
like he's like Bundy. Well, tell me what they have in common. Even if he did do it, they don't have anything in common because Bundy would rape his victims and take them in cars. He killed millions of people and he escaped from jail and he went killed again. And then, like, he's dead. But the thing is, what does he have in common? Just that Washington,
Yeah.
or
Well, the
is it
one thing
because they?
I don't think many know is that the news is actually commentary. It's not news, it's not supposed to be educational, it's all commentary, and people are invited to fill slots and talk and
Right,
just commentate. They need to fill the air the airwaves with something, and they are usually given a script, and they've been going off of it, which in this case,
Yeah.
I think it's been very irresponsible because they have been reporting
Oh,
on
yeah.
things that are not
Brady,
true.
the Giglio Brady, we're going to figure that out. And what if it says, well, all of the first responders have Giglio?
Ooh, and
And
I
that's
think you're
something,
right.
what if they're suppressing it because he would have just been exonerated? I mean, he already said, I'm going to be exonerated. He gets arrested, and then before they're even, I mean, he really thought he was going to be exonerated.
I think he was being practical. I mean, he knows the system. I mean, he's not everybody thinks he's like, a serial killer planner, but
Right, right,
he's
right.
he's in the like the academic spot, the
Deal.
cloud computing. He's all about the brains. He's not the bronze. And so um
Getting, yeah,
I just
right.
I just
And that's
forgot
like,
what I was gonna say.
actually, like, I'm sorry, but if I was a college student and there was a young man like him, I would think that that was attractive. There's nothing creepy about that. Him, really. I don't think there's anything creepy. I mean, I'm just saying that I don't think it would be difficult for him to get women.
Oh, I remember I was gonna say, and so because he has learned the system, and he might actually have been studying the system longer than some of those police officers that are on the
Right,
force. So
right,
he might
exactly.
actually know the law,
Right,
their protocols better than they do. And
right,
so I think he also understands the public perception of this. And I think that's another reason why he's been silent. But I say
right,
that because I think he was practical. I think he knows if he's being arrested for this and he
right.
knows he didn't do it, but somehow they have evidence which he knows to be that's physically impossible. They shouldn't be able to have that.
Mhm.
He knows that the public is going to be probably emotional about it, and yeah, there's a good chance he could be found guilty because of the
Right.
emotions and the how politicized this case
I
is.
hope
And
that
so he probably did say that thinking, well, this is going to be my journey. What else can I do? I know once I'm in the system, I have to follow the system. And a lot of
right,
times that's how it works. You are found guilty and then you're exonerated because
right,
there's the public's perception about how the system actually works, and then there's
right,
the actual how the system works, and even attorneys, they have perceptions of how it works too, but
mm,
of course they they live and breathe it every day, so they definitely have like they've mastered how this system does work. And so maybe there's a part of him that has mastered a little bit about how this process works, so he when he speaks and when he's talking about, yes, I will be exonerated. Yeah, the public probably would never say that. That's probably not a word that they
not
would
a
use.
normal
But
way
that's
to, like,
something that he probably thinks is going to be the normal flow of this because, like, the
right.
severity of the charges. And
Look
I know
at
that,
it took 5 years for him to go to trial.
yeah,
So, I mean, he deserves it, but I'm just saying that people complain about how long it is, but its average is about, secret crush. I have a crush on you. No, we're neighbors. Um, but, yeah, like, just, plus the whole thing with serial killers, they want to make it seem it's profitable.
exactly.
There's a market for it. I mean, they make anime out of it. They make stories now. They make
Well, don't
videos.
they say all roads lead back to the money in the university? There is a
Mhm.
marketing aspect to this case, and the media is largely responsible for marketing that story, for
Right,
giving the story to the public that they can absorb and they can do with
like this,
however
yeah,
they do with it. And
right,
so
and then
you're right. There is that aspect of it, and that is also
well,
a huge red flag to me that thinks, yeah, some of this is orchestrated,
just
especially
because
what's
someone
going
did
on in the media.
criminal is it's like, well, then I guess I should be considered a criminal then, because I have lot. I probably And you know what's interesting is that he likes Margaret
What?
Atwood.
Yeah, that's so
It's like
cool.
how
Aw,
could you like Margaret Atwood and like, you
yeah.
know, and be
He's an
like
academic. He is
a feminist sci-fi
brain is
writer.
much different. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, and I read what they underlined, like, and I realized it's kind of like it's well, he's like Catholic, right? It's talking about the blood of Christ, the way that what he underlined in The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, he
So
did.
yeah, and
I
they're
only
like,
saw
oh,
the
it's blood
picture.
and flesh. And I'm like, well, that's like Christ, you know.
Mhm.
Like I think he maybe was looking at it through religious aspects because he did go to a Catholic school. So and he did go. I mean, his parents are Catholic. You don't just say you're Catholic if he's really seeing it I mean, it's okay to be Catholic. It's okay to be a Christian. You know.
Yeah. Oh, welcome, Heather Fitzgerald. Mortis
Right.
is far more complex than the chart shows. Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Right. Right.
And I
Yeah.
think this
People.
is Brian screaming from the rooftops because he's following his attorney's advice, and the best way is always to remain silent up until after com- uh, appeal through conviction or appeal. And this is him saying, "What do you got, state? You're gonna have to really bring it if."
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know how else an innocent person would behave if they're like, "I know I didn't do it," and they can't show it, but we're gonna have to make them show that they can't show it.
Show it right.
Show the proof, yeah.
And then do everything backwards. Mortis is far
Yeah.
complex than the chart shows. Oh, really? Like it goes like quicker? Because I thought it
I'm
like
sure
you
there's
got
so
very
many
well.
different circumstances, yeah. Quicker,
Yeah,
shorter, depending on age, all that kind of thing. There's so many,
and also, if they bled out, there wouldn't be much to pull.
mm.
Oh, it's getting late for me.
Okay, I'm so happy that you stopped by. I had so much fun with you today. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And is there anything else that you'd like to talk about before? Oh, there was that. There's another weird thing about DNA I wanted to mention.
Oh, please
People
do.
about my ex-husband trying to get his DNA,
Mhm.
and he is paid and sent it 3 times, and they cannot get his DNA. They can't extract it. They
That's
just can't.
insane. Yeah, they
And so
need
it's like
a certain
in
amount.
America, that's why he's from Romania, and he like I mean, his parents were from there, and he's just a peasant. That's how I look at it. Like I don't think
Oh,
he's
of
really
course he
related to
is.
anybody.
Of course.
But yeah, so, like, that's kind of odd, isn't it? That's odd.
It is
Like, hey,
odd.
you're just a alien, or he's a troll.
They don't have
Or
any type of DNA on Earth that's like his. That's why we can't match you to anything.
it's all the peasants. You have no way of doing it because they don't do it because they're peasants. Why would they do that? Yeah. Okay. It was great talking to you. I wouldn't mind doing it again now that I
Oh, I
know
would
how to.
love if you would come on again. Yes, let's schedule something. It was so much fun today.
I
I
would
hope that you
also
have
like
a
to
great
talk
rest of your weekend. Oh, go ahead.
about the new document drop about the aggravating. I think that people are looking too deep into it. They're just like saying, my representation is they're saying basically like, how can you say it's aggravated murder yet because you don't know whether he is a murderer?
Right.
So why would you pin this like sniper's scope on your head? already. Like,
Yeah, and the state's gonna have to prove it, and so far they haven't been able to prove it, and if they can't prove it, then
or maybe BK's like,
they
I'm gonna
can't
just
have the
finish my
charges.
degree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has nothing, you're right, it has nothing in common with serial killers. I mean, they get hit in the head. That's the first thing, right? They get hit in the head, which makes sense. But head injuries,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but he could have been. I mean, people always have to say, but, until I don't know. Like, I can't believe TMZ hopped on it, and I thought I wonder how many people wrote to them in order to put it on their news station, a news channel,
They
because
are public relations. They are not news.
I
I
know
know. I think they're
they
like
get
they're
people
hiding
pay
this
me,
week.
right? Like most
They're,
of the people that are famous, they're like, "Hey, I'll pay you if you give me a good review." I don't know, like the Kardashians do that, right?
yeah, I believe that they have these what PR agents or managers or business managers, and they will go around and they can pay for if they need a good piece, a puff piece on them, like they want to be
Right.
trending here or there. I don't know. There's some sort of like algorithm that they can do, and they have things at their disposal where they can keep their client's name a buzz, in the sphere of social media, TMZ, there's a
Right.
science behind it as well. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know that they have a big job, organized job to do to keep their client's name however they're trying to market them.
Um, to be honest, it is, and like Daily Mail, like they're always wrong. So, like, read
Yeah.
the Daily Mail to get news. Like, I remember when we used to read newspapers, and I actually wanted to read this. I would buy the New York Times every Sunday without fail, but now it's like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah,
It's not the same. You can't just
gossip
read it.
call it. Right.
Right,
Hello,
right.
Misty. Welcome, Misty. Great to see you.
I know. Where have you been? I can't even see that.
Commercial zone, welcome. Ah, it's good to see you.
News
So,
Nation, yeah. They just keep on using different people. Like, yeah, Ashley Banfield, and then Vinny. They still kind of all share the same station, right?
yes, this is well, we know. Well, commercial zone, you're one of Twitter's favorites. As here's Erica, another one of Twitter's favorites. Yeah, that's so funny,
I
you
know, I
guys.
tell people to get off of Facebook because it's just junk.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
use
like a
Facebook.
club. Yeah.
So, before you go, I was just, do you think Halloween season starts
Oh,
now
I
in
can't
September,
wait.
or do you have to wait till October 1st? What do you think?
Yeah. Here in San Francisco, we have Dia los Muertos, the
Yeah,
Day of the Dead. And it's fun because I like to dress up. You make the marigold, hang on your head, and we're all black, and they have a big parade and march, and they sell the dead bread and everything. And they have
that is
people
so cool.
with bigger skulls and, put names on them. And
When
then
does
they
that
have
start?
all
Yeah,
the first, yeah, Day of the Dead. And then, but for Halloween, I was told, like, it's good to face your fears on Halloween, like dress up as someone that you're scared of. Like, don't be Tinkerbell, don't be around, be something you're afraid of. And I'm like, I'm gonna be Freddy Krueger. I don't even
That's yeah, that'll help, right. That'll help. Wow. Be something
know.
more fun.
Yeah, because my job, they always want us to like today's the day for dress in your pajamas. They did that 1 month, and I'm like, no.
What is your favorite holiday?
My favorite, of course, of course, everyone loves Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I think it's just because I grew up in the snow,
Oh, white
just the
Christmases are so, like, enchanting. Yeah.
and then the fire and the smell of the pine tree, and just the fact that people, well, some people, um, it's like a time of changing, and just like kind of like a spring almost. If you look at it religiously or not, it is a pretty.
Yeah.
What about you?
Halloween
Is
is my favorite.
it? Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
What are
I
you
want
gonna be?
Halloween to start now, and Hocus Pocus is gonna be on TV, like,
Oh,
every
okay.
day. I
Uh,
can't wait. Beetlejuice, new Beetlejuice is coming out. I'm ready to
oh,
watch a horror movie every
I
day.
can't wait to see that.
Oh, I know,
I want
I'm so excited about it.
Me too. Because you know what?
What?
It looks great. I mean, I
Yeah.
see it in San Francisco. I see the ad, and it looks awesome. And I really liked the lady in the first one that cut her the pageant lady that cut her wrist, and she's gonna be back too. The waiting room characters.
Oh, yes! Oh, I'm so happy
Um,
that the original actors, a lot of them agreed to come back.
a
That's
lot of
great
them
when they
look
do that.
good. Too. A lot of them still look the same. They aged
That's
well.
amazing.
He
Yeah.
looks amazing.
They aged well. They've been dead all these years.
I used to like watching really scary movies. I still do. Watch the really blood. I'm not too
Love
bloody.
scary.
But
Yeah.
yeah. Have you
Scary
ever
movies
seen
are
on
classic.
YouTube the Alter series? They're only like 7 minutes long of like
What
little
are they?
scary movies. It's called Alter,
No, I haven't seen that one.
and they have one that's called Omeletto, which is more like cute. But the author is like very either they have sci-fi like or they have I don't know, just kind of like little scary stuff, vampires, whatnot, bloody, just the zombies, I'm sure. They're
I've
all just
seen
7 minutes long.
the ones that isn't it called they're like 2 sentence scary
Oh
stories?
yeah,
What
yeah, those are great.
those
Bite-sized
were
stories.
good. Yes, very
Those
short stories.
what was
Yeah.
that? Is that
I
on
thought it was
HBO?
like 2 sentence scary stories.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Mike knows you said Altar and Dust, is that
Uh,
what you were
yeah,
saying?
that's just the sci-fi one.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you stream it, I think we found that they're on a Roku channel.
Roku channel. There's a football
Yeah.
game, or was it a baseball game on the Roku channel today? That's such a weird channel for it to be on.
But I sometimes we get free tickets to the games, but I really kicked myself like a couple years ago when we had like the playoffs here or whatever, the series.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know when they're gonna play all the time. SF Giants. It's a beautiful park, but it is expensive. Luckily they give away free tickets and stuff where I live and work.
That's so nice. Must be nice to live in warm, beautiful weather all the time.
No, I know. No, San Francisco's warm now, but it doesn't really have um any. It doesn't have a seasons like we do in Maryland.
Mhm.
It gets warmer in October, I think, and it gets cold. But see, then I go to my parents, which is like 4 hours away in Nevada, Lake Tahoe, and
Yeah.
and it snows, and I'm miserable. And I used to be able to handle it when I was younger, but now that I live here, we get the fog in every night.
Wow.
Yeah,
Can only
so
imagine what that looks like. Must
the
be
only
pretty.
problem is people poop everywhere, and it ruins the whole thing. Like, oh, it's so nice and feel the air, and then, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that.
Oh my god. Aw.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
um, let's see. Do you wanna tell anybody where they can find you if they want to be more a part of the conversation, or you're not?
Well, I haven't done anything yet. I mean, all I just post like music, or I was in a band, so there's
Oh,
some, yeah.
that is so
And it's not, and it's
awesome.
very you can find, you can see who I am. I don't really want to explain it because
Okay.
it was experimental at the time. But no, I mean, I'm now on X. I'm Erika Echo 23, and then of course, also I'm on every other media platform I can think of. I would like to do my own channel like YouTube, but I don't have the hookup. You
All you
know.
need is your phone and StreamYard, and you're ready.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have the. I mean, I'd like to have
Oh yeah.
the
You can find
professional.
some um reasonably priced headphones on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I should, but I'm really lazy sometimes when it comes to that. I think I can type quicker, and sometimes I can talk. I can
Same.
talk a lot. Yeah.
You can talk. I can talk a lot too. Yeah.
I, you know what? I talk to people about this case. I would say 80% here don't even know what we're talking about,
I
except
know.
for he's my neighbor, and we just. But most people think, oh, you mean that guy that went to school to kill people? That's the first thing I hear. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. They have a
Mhm.
false perception of what's going on with Bryan Kohberger.
Right. I mean, thanks to media outlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
everybody, let's thank Erica for visiting us today. It's been so great. We will schedule a time for Erica to come back on. All
yeah.
right. Well, you enjoy
That,
the rest of your day, Erica. I can't wait to talk to you soon.
you too. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you. Bye. All right. Well, that was Erica Echo Stearns. Thank you. That's great. Um, I think I saw a question up here from one of you. Let's see. Oh, yes, Joanna T. We have not seen anybody confirm change of venue yet. What I think what happened was, that the state was probably notified that there was a decision and an order that came. But like Julie Fry, she posts things on the iCourt website late, so we will probably see that on Monday. But I haven't seen it confirmed anywhere in writing yet, but people are saying that it probably is true, and we'll have to wait till Monday to see that. Commercial zone. Rumor is JJ supposedly granted the motion. Right. No confirmation as of yet. Yeah, so Misty, I was talking about that earlier. Um, I am I am like I can't wait to hear about the medical side of this. The stages of rigor, or how they determine time of death. And there should have been food in their stomachs, which could also help with that. So I am very curious about um what they did find in the stomach, or of any type of sort, to give a time range that is more accurate than the 12 p.m. that is listed on whatever document that was that they released to the public. Um, uh, Commercial Zone would like to know what the panel thinks about the latest doc drop. Does anybody want to come up and talk? I can provide a link. Commercial Zone, if you want to come up and talk, anyone? Um, yeah, that there was a lot of things dropped. Yes, I encourage anybody, if they want to pursue a YouTube channel, do it. The best advice that I've been hearing is that just start and learn as you go. It's about the journey. And I'm so happy that Truth and Justice, True Crime with Anna D. She took the plunge. She created her own channel. She has a video up, her first one. She's involved in true crime in her local community, and I think she said she's helped search for some missing children, and she's very active, very wonderful soul. You guys should check out her channel. It's very good. Erika was a natural. Yes, Erika was so great. I'm so happy she agreed to come on. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Mike. Oh, I love that. Yes, we want everyone to be comfortable here, and we can, that's so we can be the best that we can be. Right. I'd like to know the time of all the stomach stuff. Um, okay, Anna, well, next time. Oh, Commercial Zone has sub to Anna D. Yay. Oh, thank you, Mike. I love that. It was positive energy. It's definitely, I think, definitely needed. Anomaly is right, Diane. All right, let me see if I can get this. How do I? Oh, here we go. Okay. I don't know if you're still around, Commercial. Where do I put this in here? There you go. There's the StreamYard link if anybody wants to come up. So Joanna T, are you saying they didn't note any of the specifics of the death penalty that should happen to build charges? Did they find the applesauce? They didn't give notice on every account, manners and means. Yeah, I didn't see any of the manners and the means. Oh, she had baby applesauce. So see, this is what I was thinking, that the state stacked the charges to scare him into pleading be for another one of these weird or odd things that the state does, because they may lack some evidence to show that he did this. So, yeah, another one of these tactics to try to get over on the fact that they can't place Bryan at the scene. What better way is to see if he can be scared into pleading guilty? Now, for these DP, I thought that a lot of them are out there to challenge the current laws, and to do that, it may not particularly pertain to Bryan, but they are out there covering all their bases, and they want to attack it as a whole. I know that some of these things in when it comes to court documents, again, there's a public perception there that may not uh be which may be different from what is actually happening. And I know some of these things can be posted as like a formality of sorts, so I do think some of them may be that, but I also think there is a strategy behind others, and that's why there's so many, is that I think different ones serve a different purpose. I did see an overarching theme about victims, and so I don't know, because I don't I don't know, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but as the charging state, or uh a forensic tech, um is do they, when they make decisions, do they look at victims' wounds, or do they, like, what are the types of things they look at to make decisions about adding aggravated factors? And so I think that Jay was commenting on that. Yeah, there are decisions made about these types of things, and here are some of the decisions that other states have made. And this is how it's in accordance or not in accordance with law. And that, based in, I think he's mentioned our framers, our forefathers, our, the original way that they envisioned a lot of this type of thing was not to put maybe one victim's wounds over the other, or to try to determine whether somebody would commit a crime again based on what the victim's wounds were. Okay, so Anna D says that she thinks this is kind of normal for Ann Taylor to write and what she wrote about. And I would tend to agree with that because I think Ann Taylor's trying to do multiple things here. And I think that's why there's so many. And one of them might be because with each case, maybe she's arguing, and her argument actually builds on different cases that she's done, maybe. They got to tie BK to the crime first. Right. You can't impose a death penalty if you don't have the evidence to convict him. So if they don't have any of the cell data or any video of a 2015 Elantra, and you don't have any proof of this person going to and from the crime scene in the timeline or window that you're stating that the crimes occurred, then I don't understand how, well, any charges could be made, but especially the death penalty. How Joanna T says, how would state prove their case on every count? Right. I don't know if they could, as they have to make on the DP on the table. All forensic evidence was not discovered yet. Yeah. So Commercial Zone says Payne has never placed BK in the house in the PCA. Creative writing, but he's never been placed in 1122 at the time of the crimes, 4 a.m. to 4:25 a.m. Yeah. There's nothing to suggest that Bryan was in the house. Talking of wounds, Misty says, how do we know KG's were worse than others? Where did this info come from apart from SG? That's true. We don't know. And as we've learned more about the G's, we know that they might not always have the best information. And of course, they're always going to say, their daughter may have had it worse than others, but we don't know for sure. As this is, yep, cruel and unusual punishment. And I think that was some of the point that these DP documents were trying to make, was that, yes, you have all these factors that have determined death penalty in these other cases. And here where it may not be appropriate. Okay. Nothing links him to the house or the car. I agree. Oh, Twizzle's still in here. Hi, Twizzle. Twizzle says PCA is just a story with a bunch of misleading statements. That is right. And I think that was the purpose of Cy Ray and his testimony. Ann Taylor was asking Cy Ray about his expertise and how he would do what paint, like, there is a route in one of the affidavits that Payne says that this car took. And so Ann Taylor wants to demonstrate through Cy Ray's expertise that could not have happened. That Brett Payne did not use the required materials to not only make a statement like that, but to go back and check your work. So the MPD, I think when you boil it down, Ann Taylor did a great job of saying, well, MPD doesn't save their work or check their work. And here are the experts in the fields that can show you that this is what happened with that information. So, yeah, I mean, are they they are misleading? Are they borderline purposefully false? Hopefully, Ann Taylor laid the groundwork for that when she demonstrated there is missing information. The information that was used couldn't have concluded what is concluded in those affidavits, and that this work wasn't checked. And then hopefully Eliza Masseth will come around, and when she files these motions to suppress and these motions for Frank's hearing, we will get a little bit more information about that Eliza's work is going to support the work that AT has already done and has on court record, in my opinion. Truth and Justice True Crime with Anna D says they would have to prove that the car is supposed to be BK was at the scene at the house. The car they have is fussy and no plates on it. As of right now, that's how I take it. And I would agree. And there's also, Ann Taylor also got on record that they were given video of a 2011 2013 vehicle. And she says, the state says that there's all there is of this vehicle, and the question is, it's an identification of the 11 to the 13. She's like, the state says that's all there is of this vehicle, and I just want to make sure that that is it, because that's fine if it is. But I think the purpose of her saying that is to say, yeah, they gave us this car. Why? That's odd, I think. So, Truth and Justice True Crime, Anna D says, if you eliminate those factors, they can't use the death penalty. Right. And I do think that Ann Taylor is starting at the top and she's just going down. And this death penalty, it has to be addressed in a certain way. And then once that is addressed, again, maybe Masseth or Jay will come in around and have something else that'll support it. And then we'll have more information about what it is that they're trying to do with that. So at this point, we have the groundwork for something more that is to come with these death penalty drops. Right, Mike. Anomalies and the real deal. Mike says the chip said the car isn't in the videos that he knows of, I believe. Yeah, Brett Payne is on record in court saying he doesn't have or know of any videos of the car. As Cyree had pointed out, if there is one route that you are going to map in this case, it would be the route from Pullman to Moscow, because that is a big part of the state's case. They're saying that Bryan allegedly came from Pullman and went to Moscow, and then depending on which PCA or affidavit you read, I think, was it Blaker that said Bryan went right home? And then Payne said that Bryan drove the route that, or no, actually, Brett Payne didn't even say Bryan drove that route. He just said it was a possible route. So I don't, and that was a perfect opportunity for the lead detective to clarify what it is he is alleging. And Brett Payne didn't do that. And he didn't even want to comment on it, really. Commercial Zone says, state's trying to get Cyray tossed, claiming only BK can give testimony to his alibi. Right. And it was Beatty, wasn't it, who said something along the lines of, we can't have anybody like change their alibi if they know about the cast report. No, actually, it's even stranger that because Bryan has put in a partial alibi, now the state wants to like make sure it's correct. No, your cast should have been turned over. It shouldn't matter what the defendant's alibi is, because the state should be ready to go. They should be a united front saying, I don't care when or where you want this trial, because we have the evidence to show this person did this, and we will prosecute this person to the fullest extent of the law. That's it. And I don't see them doing that at all. 82% of the cast was missing. Right. So how could you make allegations against somebody if you don't have the proper information to do that? I'm sorry, guys. I am behind on trying to get to your comments here. There could be 4 people in that car. Yeah. Yes, Diane. We don't even know. Commercial Zone says, questions for BP. When they move Uniontown from Washington to Idaho, CPCA, where he documents SV1 travels around Uniontown, Idaho, huh? Yeah, right? Joanna T says, in Idaho, Mayor John Kaler case, they could not prove all 4 victims were premeditated or disregard. Premeditation can happen also in a moment, but there was 2 counts in the first and 2 counts in the second. Oh, Joanna T, is that what they mean with these DP things? That it was the state's job to charge correctly, to say, is it, what degree are you charging with? Oh, yeah, I would think that information is needed. I don't know. Great chat, great live. Had fun. Gotta go run errands. Take care, everyone, and keep searching. Thanks for coming, Mike. If anybody, Mike has his own channel, Anomalies in the Real Deal. Yeah, check him out. Chic Bait, welcome. I'm doing very good. How are you? Misty says, see you change of venue if change of venue is true. Do we think JJJ will still preside over the case, or will he want an easy way out? Mike says easy way out. Chic Bake says Ann Taylor's client is innocent, and they can't put someone like on death row if true, in my opinion. Yeah, I think the state needs to show a little more before. Yeah. Wasn't Brett Payne the Brady Giglio guy? Oh, I'm not sure who the Brady Giglio guy knows. Does anyone know? Commercial said BP is on record on the PCA making up where SV1 traveled on Indian Hills, as there was on video. So he made up where it was supposedly traveled. Yes, yes, he did. And when he spoke about, was it Imel? Special Agent Imel, where they were looking at possible locations for where a car could be. I think he's directly quoted of saying something to that, where he was working with a special agent and they were looking at possible locations where a car could be. Truth and Justice True Crime with Anna D says, if you reread the PCA, look at how, and the other guy said, in my opinion. That's just his opinion. That's not evidence. I'm not a lawyer, but I've done research. I would agree. Right. So typically, I don't think PCAs are evidence. They still have to prove that in a court of law. So at this point, it is Brett's opinion, and it's looking like Brett may not have the required documentation he needs to pursue that in a court of law. But I don't know for sure either because I'm not an attorney. Commercials asking VP to be clear is asking too much of him. Yeah. Chic Big says Bill Thompson said it wasn't true BK was a stalker. That's correct. He did say he did say that. And in addition to that, he also said that because that stalking thing somehow I think is like related to the locations of cell phones, or the locations and where they are alleging Bryan was. And Bill Thompson had to clarify, well, no, we didn't say stalking, but we did say he was somewhere near a cell tower. Well, the whole town was somewhere near a cell tower. So now there's no stalking, and now there's questions on where they think Bryan was. Oh, Diane. Are they saying that the equipment was never calibrated? Well, Ray did say that there are mistakes that are causing a ripple effect, which are causing things to look even more incorrect, and it's changing the narrative of what's going on with that information. Is how I understood it. But yeah, they wanted to fix their cast, right? David Bird, welcome. The minute Santa said no stalking, a bunch of loonies said BK actually had the victims under surveillance. That, how in the world? Grand jury is charging first degree only. They can't turn around later and say second degree or manslaughter. Okay, thank you for clearing that up, Commercial Zone. Oh, thank you, Chic Bait. It's good to see you too. Aw. Oh, I think I caught up with all of your comments here. Okay. BP, if memory serves. Right, Misty? Right? That would be interesting to see, Chic Bait, if Bryan did do those AA or NA meetings, because that would right, and we don't know anything about what he did or anybody did prior. We don't know what the victims' movements were, prior to it happening, or what he was doing the day before, or It's just a lack of information. So, Truth and Justice, True Crime Andy says, so just because BK phone was off or airplane mode doesn't mean he was at the house committing the unalivings. Now, this is a very good point because I've said since the beginning, if Bryan's phone isn't on the towers where Brett Payne is actually looking, how does Brett Payne know where that phone is? What Brett Payne is saying, well, I know I don't see Bryan's phone number here on this list of whatever data dump they did for whichever tower dump. I don't see it. So the main reasons would be if it was off in airplane mode, just not connecting with the network, or out of range. But what he fails to say is that another very plausible reason is because the cell is connecting to a different tower, maybe in Washington where he lives. So, and that is one thing that Syre did bring up specifically, is that he wants other cell tower lists so he can see the cell towers that the cell phone wasn't interacting with, or the cell towers that the phone was interacting with. And they are very important to keep in that packet of information that he was saying that is needed to go into this cast report, because he said he doesn't have any of the source material, and that would be some of the source material are the tower lists from the area, because you can still get it, even if it is true that Bryan wasn't connecting to any towers in Washington state, they would still need to have those towers to I guess maybe to see how they behave, and to see if it's possible he actually could have been connected to one of them. Let's see. Tell me how they can prove it. I don't know, just my thought. I agree, Anna. I have caught up with all of your comments here. Does anybody want to come up? BK could have lost service due to driving down to Huawei. Why? Spent some time there and regained service later. Yep, could have been. Definitely. Okay, everyone. If nobody wants to come up right now, that's fine. I just want to thank you all for coming and watching today, and I thank you, Erika. So good to speak to you, Erika. I will be in touch so we can get you back up here on panel. It was so much fun today. Yeah. So if any of you see Erika around, please say hi, and I will see you all next time. Bye.